Like how that work?
As someone who understands what that life is like,
Hey y'all, welcome to the excuse me, welcome to the Hostile Takeover live chat. Please forgive my tardiness. Um, First off, thank you guys for coming. Shout out to our wonderful, lovely last minute co-host who I was like, hey sis, what you doing in like 2 hours? At the last minute. Shout out to the lovely Nicole Falls, who is going to be joining us tonight. If you have never, I don't know if I want to call it a misfortune or a pleasure, if you've never had the opportunity to see Nicole and I do anything together, just know it's a good time. I don't think I've ever had a bad time with you. Like,
definitely not. It's always a vibe.
so
Um, yeah.
y'all give me just a second. I'm gonna connect. I'm so all over the place. I'm sorry. I'm not even gonna front. I had we went to Blaze Pizza for dinner. Well, we ordered Blaze Pizza for dinner, and I kind of like I laid down, and then,
And it was like, I've fallen and I can't get up.
yeah, like once that happened, it was like, are we doing this chat tonight? Like we
Okay.
already said it. We already scheduled it, and I asked, and I asked the co-host to come on. So yeah, I think we're gonna do it. I'm just trying to get my earbuds. Don't do me like this today, please. Okay, I think they're connected. Okay, yeah, I hear you. I hear you in my ears. Okay, perfect. And my camera's about to die. Okay, so let's just nip this in the bud right now. I'm just gonna make this real simple. We're not even gonna play with we're not even gonna play with the camera today. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna switch to the webcam, and hey, we're just gonna call it a day. Um
I'm so
my
mad.
camera
I
is
was
dead.
trying to make my background the cover, but it's cropping weirdly, so it won't look good.
Oh, I wonder if
I wonder if I resize the image if that will help.
I was gonna say I can send you like hold on. I thought they let me do it, but they won't. What does add a media slot do? What does that look like from y'all's end? It's right now the time for me to be trying stuff. It's not. Hey guys. Let me just answer my own question. No, Christina, it's not. Again, thank you guys for coming through. Hopefully you have already read this book. If not, listen, it's gonna be some spoilers. So I don't even I'm not even gonna hold you. It's gonna be this might ruin this book for you if you've not read it yet. Hi everybody. Uzu, Mieko, Kia, Tara, Courtney, Monique, Lovely True Red, cute. I apparently can't read letters. I was about to say KP. That is clearly a Q. Like, that is so obviously a Q. Aisha, KG, Camille. Hi guys. Thank you for coming through. First off, the first thing I want to say, please, leave your questions and stuff over in the little, in the chat box. But yeah, as a comment, thank you, because clearly I don't words. What is that?
What is
First thing I want to say though is the other day, I like there was a post that went up that had a review in it, and it was like Orion is too toxic for me. And a couple of y'all are capped because I saw a few people saying, Oh my God, toxic. Orion is not toxic, babe. You might like it.
But he's not non-toxic either.
Right. Baby is bleach. He's, he's not
If you're drinking, the poison control center is coming.
right. You need to, have that number on speed dial. You wanna know what's so funny? This has nothing to do with nothing, but Isabella, who is my oldest, when she was maybe 2 years old, she got into a bottle of gummy vitamins. Like, and she ate all the gummy vitamins. And I called poison control, and that lady laughed at me on the phone. That lady laughed at me on the phone. She was like,
Ma'am.
I'm pretty sure she'll be fine when they were gummy vitamins.
Oh no, she
Oh,
OD'd on vitamin C. Whatever will we do?
look,
Okay.
I was
First
concerned. I
time
was
mom.
worried.
First time mom though. That's
I thought I was going to have to take that child to the emergency room. Okay, so Monique says he's nowhere near the toxicity of other men I've read. I could see that. That I could see. I could definitely see that.
sure.
But
On a sliding scale of toxicity, right? He probably would be on the middle end of that.
yeah, I give him like a 6,
Yep.
maybe.
I was thinking
Uh
like 6.57, but like
yeah, yeah. He's definitely on there. He's definitely,
yeah,
he's not failing the class.
he's present and accounted for.
Not at all. Um, and I think that part of that is probably to do with my tolerance more than anything, like more than who he actually was, because I don't know that I could have survived.
Going further off the deep
I
end.
don't, if he had been just like one more notch on the dial, and it's crazy because I don't think I could have written him if I had not written Kingston Whitfield.
Mm.
Like I don't think I could have, I don't think I could have made that step. And then thinking about like what's the hero's name in Vampire Nigga? What's his name?
Oh
Elias.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
If I had not written him, because he was toxic too, but
Mm-hmm.
that was like different. And I
Different.
think
Mm.
that you have a little more room when you're doing paranormal. I think you have that, like that extra little bit of room for suspension of disbelief that kind of opens that kind of opens it up a little more.
I'm worried
He
about
said,
what the hell y'all are reading. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the comments. And
here,
Monica said he's nowhere near, and then Kia said Denver is more toxic than him, and he ain't even ... Like what y'all be doing?
I'm assuming the
What these niggas
kidnapping.
be doing? Like I'm nervous.
I'm assuming she's talking about the kidnapping and the gun pulling. I could see it. I could see it. I could see it. But I think that what makes I don't know that I agree that Denver is more toxic, because I feel like Denver had an inciting incident, whereas Orion, that's just who he was.
Yes, from the beginning. Came through the door waving a photo. Like
Right. Orion kind of had a little bit more of a reason, I guess. Not Orion, I'm sorry. Denver had a little bit more of a reason behind, there was a little bit more method to his madness. Orion was just there. Denver is not toxic. He's a vampire. Yeah, I was just about to say, Kingston was given the same energy. He absolutely was. He absolutely was. I think that Kingston's mother and sister probably leveled him out a little more,
I can see
because
that.
yeah, I think that's probably the only thing that kind of gives him, you know, a little bit more. And I'm thinking about if I ever make it to the Beauty and the Beast retelling, that dude,
I just want you to stop talking about that until you give that to us.
I'm sorry. I'm
Because
sorry.
you're probably like, damn, why she talking to her like that? She don't mean no harm. But like, I'm scared, but I am also intrigued because every
Me
time you bring
too.
him up, please don't make me laugh like this.
Me
But every
too.
time you bring him up, I'm like, I just wonder how deep is like he off into the level of toxicity. Like you're saying off the charts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like even the whole what's the word? Like the whole catalyst for, for their romance. Like if it's actually similar. It's actually similar. It's marriage of convenience, or I don't even know if it's convenience.
Convenience.
Like it's more like, whereas Nalani kind of has this choice of, I mean, it's not a great choice,
Yeah.
but she kind of has this choice. She can, she can walk away and she'll still be like, she would have been okay. She didn't want to because of what the business meant to her.
The legacy.
Issa is life or death.
Mm.
And so it's kind of like there's not really a choice, and that's a big part of why I am struggling with that. But speaking of the business, I could not help but notice
Oh,
the
you could
honey
not
and
help but notice.
hibiscus.
I love the honey and hibiscus mug. I never know how to do this when my thing is blurred, so I'm trying to bring it closer so y'all can see.
Yes,
You know,
it looks beautiful.
the brand is strong. This is a nice solid mug. You know.
I can't I have some, but I
You
can't
also
get to it
notice
where it is in my office.
my finery of my wear as well.
I didn't notice until you said
Listen, sister, the brand has to be represented
something.
in all facets. Anyone
And
who's
I
unaware, um, I'm so sorry. I've been trying not to cough while I've not been muted, because I
I
think
was
that
gonna say,
sounds so
girl,
disgusting.
because
Um,
y'all gonna get some coughs out of me.
but this is one of the perks of supporting our good sis Christina Clementine Jones
Yes.
with regularity. This is oh, I just happen to have one by me. You know, every time you buy something, you get one of these lovely cards, and when you get up to 10, you get a little treat, a little nice
A little
treat,
care package.
a little
What's
care
you wanna
package,
know what's
and this shirt
funny?
is part of it.
The blanket, if right here in my corner, that there is a blanket that I just tossed over like a stack of like packaging and stuff. I was like, let me cover this up. That's actually the blanket. It's just turned the other way.
Got you.
Using it as a drop cloth. Um, but but I have stuff is all over the place in my office right now because for one, I was packing baby stuff, and then I was signing
That
and I really cannot
pretty
do this
thing there.
justice. I'm trying to, there we
Ooh,
go.
you see that
Catch the
fur?
light.
That girl, look at
And
that,
then
sparkling and glistening. Oh,
catch
chat.
the light. And like I was saying over on Patreon, these are going to be the only copies of those with the foil because that was expensive and I can't.
Oh, we are but so lucky to be
That
patrons.
was
My
expensive.
God,
So yeah.
the perks be perking. Amen.
I'm hoping we're going to be able to have, continue to have a good time over there, even as I go through maternity leave and all of that. And y'all, I was fighting to get this book finished. I was like, please, like, if I cannot get anything else done, like, please let me get this book finished so that I can just have just the mental freedom. Because the thing is, I feel like it was harder to write Kingston and Asha because I feel like we got a bit deeper into their relationship than we did with Nalani and Orion, which that's a common thread from what I've seen in terms of, I guess, complaints. And I say complaint, but I've not seen it really phrased as a complaint, more like a, you know, I wish that there had been this. Like, I
More.
wish we had seen more of the relationship between Nalani and Orion. I think there was more of that with Kingston and Asha, but I expected that. I said it in my pre-release thoughts because I knew that was coming, but I don't think it would have fit their story. I think that if I had tried to, I think I would have had to write a much longer book, and they weren't. That's not what they were giving me. You know, like I would have had to, because the course of the story is like 4 months, 6 months, something like that. Like at most, it's 6 months, and then for the epilogue that I wasn't going to write, but I was like, I should probably write the epilogue. We see them a year in the future. The baby is here. They're having, the welcoming party for the baby, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's when we see that they have actually, over time, they've developed more of a relationship than they did, at the end. The book ended on them basically like, I think we can make this work. I think this is something that we can do. And I feel like, how do I say this? So everybody can read what they want to read, right? And everybody can have what they like to see in a romance novel. But I feel like there has to be room for that to be the realistic end, for that to be the realistic where this book ends, you know, with them agreeing, like, we're going to give this a try, we're going to give this a real shot, because that's based on the pacing, that's what's realistic. It would not have made sense considering where they started. It would not have made sense for there to be a declaration of love in the span of that book. And that's a full length book. That's a full
That's a thick girl. And two, I think
it's
that like if we wanted like the true progression to get them to the point of saying, I love you, I am in love with you, like that very well could be a 3-book series. You know what I mean? Like I
exactly.
feel like it wouldn't be a linear path, even though, nearing the end of this, they're closer to being on the pathway to doing that. But like I think it I don't know. I don't need every book to end with marriage and babies.
Mhm.
Um, I'm laughing at myself as I say that because I think like my last 2 projects have been in marriage and babies. Um,
I
but
mean,
like,
it bees like that sometimes.
but like, honestly, I think that we have to make room for, and this is something I see people like discussing on the timeline too. Make room for like romance to not necessarily need the marriage and babies to be considered a happily ever after thing.
Mhm.
And also being, I guess, cognizant of the fact that, at least for me, romance is about the love story, right? It's
Mhm.
about the progression of the love story at whatever stage these people end up being in. And so, like, I don't know, like for like you said, that was the realistic ending for where they began and where we saw them now. Now, if you want to write 150,000 word behemoth just to get to that wedding part, like I don't
Yeah.
know, like that's cool, but that's also crazy because like sometimes you just have to allow for a story to be end where it ends and let your mental mind write the rest.
You know why I'm laughing at that.
I do. I said it on purpose.
but yes, I agree with that. And even with that said, I'm not saying that I don't understand the critique, and I'm not saying that the critique is even wrong.
Hmm.
Like, because I can't tell you, I
your
can't tell
opinion.
somebody how to feel, and I can't tell
Yeah.
somebody what makes a book feel complete for them. I would just I would challenge that though, to make sure that you're leaving room for the book to be the book that the author wrote versus the book that you wanted it to be. You
Agreed.
know what I mean? Like I feel like there has to be room. I feel like there has to be room for both.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Like I don't know that, like if the subsequent books are, you know, within that same time frame, like if they pick up before the epilogue, which I purposely did not, you know, I purposely didn't really talk about what was going on with either of the other potential couples because I don't know yet. But if we don't pick up the epilogue, if we pick up like with the end of House of Takeover, for example, we might get through both or all three other books, thinking about, you know, the other two brothers, and then Soren, who would have probably like a spinoff. Like it would probably take till the end of all of them
For
for
everybody.
that relationship to have that natural progression. And I hate to see what Morgan and what Morgan and Harry's is gonna look like.
Yeah.
Cause what
It's
well
gonna be a
I
lot of
say
please,
that.
baby, please in that one.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm here
I
for
think
it.
that there will probably be some good groveling.
Get on
Um,
your knees.
yes, and do
Pause.
more than yeah, yeah. But they'll you know they'll figure it out. Um, I had a good time writing them. I had a really good time writing them, and I am glad that, you know, that they've gotten the reception that they got. And I say I had a good time, but I mean, Nicole knows, and y'all have seen me complain. Oh my God, how long is that? How long is this going to take? And I think
Okay,
that
so can I say something about that?
yes,
I think that I think that you think that came across as way more like that you were way more perturbed than you actually were. Just because, like, I
okay,
just think you were impatient
yeah, because
because
I
you
was
were rocking
ready
and
to
rolling,
be.
like you were rocking and rolling, and
Yeah,
at a at a decent clip, as you were writing it. So, but you just wanted to probably just give yourself more than enough time to get it off your plate so you can like, okay, this is one thing that I don't have to take, into maternity leave with me as a stressor.
yeah,
So it probably to you felt like you were complaining about it all the time, but
yeah. But you know what, you say that, but I wrote Lady of the House for Thanksgiving,
mm-hmm.
and pretty much immediately I was like, I think that there's more to this, and I want to write it. And so thinking about that, like if that was in, you know, late November, December, and then it took me until basically April to really be done. It did take a little longer than normal, but
When did
I
you
do
start
have to give
actively
my
writing?
yeah, I had to give myself some room on that because I wrote Love on Set kind of during that same time. Like I was writing both projects at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, and I had to keep stopping because I actually can't write two projects at once. The way I thought I was going to be able to, the way that I, you know, just really had in my mind, like, no, I'm gonna do it. I can make it work. No, no, I was not making it work. I had to completely pause. Tara says, I just want them to be together at the end in whatever manner that looks like for them. As long as they're working towards their happily ever after, I'm good. And I think that's, you know, again, understanding that there are a lot of people who do desire that, you know, that traditional, you know, exchange of I love yous and whose place are we moving into, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Absolutely, with respect to that. But also I think that in 2023 there has to be room for happily ever after or happily for now. And I really actually hate the term happily for now because everything is happily for
I
now.
was gonna say I think I think that it doesn't encompass what actually is the mood at the end of the right, because happy
Yeah.
for now implies that later they could not be happy.
Right. It implies that we're expecting something to
Yeah.
happen, or that we're thinking something is going to happen. And nobody goes into, you know, nobody makes that decision that this is the person that I'm serious about and is thinking this is not going to be. And it frustrates me a little bit when I know I'm outside of author business, but whatever, I'm going to say it anyway. It frustrates me when I see people do memes like, couples who probably broke up after the end of the book. I'm like, can we not? If they were happy at the end of the book, that's how I left them. And that's how they're going to be, unless I, the author, say different.
Mm,
So why would you put that on them? Like, just
yeah.
let them be
That's what
happy.
people be.
Right, just let them be. They're good. They're, whoever's cousin and baby mama drama and whatever else, we left all that behind us and everything is going to be good. Like, everybody has behaved. Let's make that the fan fiction that happens, in our heads for after. But yeah, uh Erica is talking about their mom. So that is so one of my friends who read the project, she read it kind of, it was mostly done, and so she saw it all together. And I say that as if the vast majority of people did not read the project when it was done. But that was something that she brought up, the mom, because like seeing the way, talking about Orion's mom, but seeing the way that he spoke about her, and the relationship that she clearly had with Callie. Callie embraced her. Callie, helped take care of her when she was sick, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, versus Morgan, like, that bitch was mean.
Mhm.
Like,
Oh, that
that
bitch.
difference there, we'll get to see more of kind of what went on with that. And I think that Morgan is being hard on Aries because this stuff that happened between them happened when they were teenagers. And I don't know, maybe because I'm, a mom of like teenager, almost teenager, I'm like, I don't know. Like I don't know how realistic it is for a 17, 18-year-old kid to go against their parent who has, you know, raised them very closely, provided for them, loved them, provided a great home environment for them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, for a love interest. Even though, they, Morgan and Aries were absolutely, they loved each other. That's what it was. I don't know. I don't know that it's realistic for him to like betray his mother for her.
And you have to think of what the male brain is like at that age.
Right.
I say that as a parent of someone who is around that
Like
age.
right there. Like right there.
And I'm just gonna say it, they're not very smart. So they are not going to always make the right decisions. I just
Yes.
had to yell at somebody today because they told me it was senior ditch day. And I said, we don't do no senior ditch day in my house. I don't know what you thought. And I think too, Morgan has to I'm gonna say something that's probably not right to say, but I'm gonna announce it.
Like, what else are we
Um,
here for?
like yeah, Morgan just has to be realistic, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you talk about the haves and the have-nots and sort of how those things shake out. Every girl is not gonna find the Harry to her Megan, and I hate that I had to use them as an example. My God. Um, but you're not gonna find like that guy, right? Like
Yeah.
that's not a realistic thing. That, and even she had, obviously her issues and strife with those racist people over there with the bad teeth.
Yeah.
But like,
and they were full-blown adults.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it took him a little minute to cleave from that family. So I don't know. I think knowing what we know about them, their story is going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of push and pull.
Yeah.
Give and take.
Because Aries is not Orion. Aries is not Orion. And Orion even, he even alludes
Even
to
said
that.
it.
He's like, he doesn't have the stomach for this stuff. And it's not that he's,
soft or anything, but
yeah,
it's
not like that. Like he's just not that guy. Like he's more even keeled. He's like laid back. Like that's just who he is. And Morgan, I mean, we met Morgan. There's never a conversation in the book that at least 3 out of pocket things don't come out of her mouth. Like she's always, her mouth is always going. And I don't see a scenario where she's not worse than Nalani when it came to Orion. And so they're going to be interesting. And then we have Titan, the Playboy, with Alexis. That one is going to be fun. And I really have to figure out whose story I'm going to write first, especially with
everybody put your
Titan is the baby.
Okay, everybody put your votes in the chat. Put your votes in the chat, everybody.
I would love, you know what?
It ain't gonna matter, but I just like to,
yeah, I'm just curious. I wonder, can I make a poll? Can I do that?
You can.
I'm trying to see if they'll
I think.
I don't know how to do it.
Maybe you can. I don't know.
There's banners. There's some branding. Maybe if I was straight on YouTube, I could do it, but I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything for it. But just tell your votes. I'm just curious to see, who would you rather hear from first, Alexis and Titan or Aries and Morgan? And then it's gonna depend on a lot. I don't even know.
Cast your vote.
Yeah. But okay, let me see. Begging like Donnell Jones in the video at the window. Nah, he gonna be in a sweater.
Oh no.
Talking about where you want to be. Let me see. Teen drama is so extra. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. And I hope that I do not have to write much of it. Like I hope that book is not full of flashbacks
of angst.
Like I really hope not. It's very realistic when they get their mind right. That woman traumatized Morgan. She did. But in Aries' defense, he was in love with Morgan, and it hurt. It did hurt him too. Like it was not nothing to him. Like Monique, not Monique, Morgan. She didn't have millions to fall back on the way that Aries did, but the relationship was not nothing to him. The teenage years were rough. They absolutely are with the bad teeth. I will not lean into the stereotype with you, T, but that's hilarious. That is hilarious. They are opposites, but the sparks will surely fly. Absolutely. Who is talking to you more at the moment? That's always what it's going to be. And as much as I hate it, Aries and Morgan, Titan and Alexis, Aries and Morgan. Will we hear more from Storm?
Matched.
Yeah. So most people, well, I won't say most people, several people, like several betas and, several people who read along with the book before it was out, asked, like, why didn't we get to see that conversation between Stanford. Lord, I was
Stanford,
about to call him man Sterling. Stanford and Soren. Because that was not Nalani's story. Like that's not Nalani's story. And I and that was me giving myself some wiggle room for when I do write Soren, because I do plan to write Soren. But when we know what that conversation entailed, I want it to come from his point of view. Like I want us to see it more from him. And I think it'll hit harder when we can really get it from him. But I didn't know that was coming. Like, well, I knew it was coming by the time, the big reveal came. But when when they were in that office and Orion, like, how do you say that to like another grown man, like an old man at that? Like, how do you say? Your kid ain't even yours, right? Like,
cold-blooded.
not
He not
really.
toxic.
He went DMX. You broke. Your kid ain't yours, and everybody know.
You be like, so I love my baby.
I love my baby mother. Like that
reference. Oh my gosh.
Like, don't get me wrong, William deserved whatever he ultimately got, but that was cold-blooded. Like that was cold-blooded. But again, William already knew that. He already knew that. I think it was just the fact that Orion pointed it out. I think that was when he really realized that, okay, other people actually know this too. Like this is not as much. Yeah. And I think that kind of messed with his ego. But Soren is a little quiet. I won't call him quiet, but Soren is a little nerd bae. He's younger than Nalani, but he's not a baby. Like he's like just under 30 or something like that, I think is what if I remember correctly, that's like what his age range was. So we'll be able to have fun in his story. Like I can't write no more youngins. Like especially it's like every year older I get, it's like it takes away a year on the back end of how young I'm willing to write. I can't do any more youngins. Aries and Morgan and Aries, Titan and Alexis, Aries and Morgan, Aries and Morgan, Aries and Morgan, Aries and Morgan, Alexis and Titan. And you know what? I shouldn't have asked because y'all are going to jinx me because so many of you want Aries and Morgan. That is not who's going to talk first.
Stand up. Let's go.
You gotta see. Go ahead and get the friends to lovers out and leave the enemies to lovers. That's the best way to close out the series. That's a valid point because if y'all thought Orion and Nalani was enemies to lovers, Nalani was just like, I don't even know you. Like he was a stranger, and he came in hot. So she really had like a surface, I won't call it a surface level reason, but Morgan has deep seated hatred. Because remember, she had talked about this situation to her friends before. Like this was one of their, we just met in college, and he who must not be named, like she wouldn't even say this man's name. Like that's the level that she is not with him. Let me see. Would you jump timelines in Aries and Morgan's story? In what way? I'm not sure what way you're referring to. It's going to take a lot for Morgan to even let Aries get a complete sentence out. It is. It is. It is. He's like, hi, Morgan. How are you? Successful? How are you? Like she ain't trying to hear nothing he's talking about. Soren is an undercover nerd. Absolutely. Titan is going to be wild. He already is wild. Now we're going to devour them both regardless of order, and I appreciate that about you guys. I do not know. I don't know when. I I don't know when I'm going to, be able to revisit. I know that end of year, or not end of year, there's at least two other projects that I want to write this year, and neither of them are Blackwood Billions projects. It's the Connecticut Kings project, and I'm hoping for Lark's project, but we'll see. And I'll probably fit some stuff in. I'm not even gonna front, y'all. The Connecticut Kings project is the only thing that's definitely happening. It's the only thing that's definitely happening. Everything else is, it depends on how this baby does me. Because I truly, I I have no idea. Like I have no idea. High school, college, when his friend tried the Blackwater business, then fast forward a year or two from hostile takeover. I will. This book will never get written if I have to write them in high school. Like, I will never write it if I have to write high schoolers for more than like the length of like a flashback scene. Or a couple of flashback scenes, but just in general, I don't even know what high schoolers sound like anymore. Oh, I'm about to have a junior high schooler, so but that makes it even worse.
You don't want to know what high schoolers sound like, sis. Like,
Yeah,
sometimes I'm like,
like, please stop talking to me. Oh,
I do believe the children are the future, but
they are definitely the future, but in the present.
In the present, just limit
Low contact. I've been talking about Lark forever. Take one day at a time, sis. Oh yeah, you're continuing. Yes, we will be doing Connecticut Kings. When, like, ballpark, I don't know. I don't even know who my hero is yet. I was just telling Love that I'm gonna watch the draft, the NFL draft is coming up, and I'm gonna watch the draft. And then I was like, am I gonna watch the draft? Because those boys be young. Like, so
those are children, bro. Those are children.
Yeah, like and when I wrote Ambrose and Tegan, I was like, I felt iffy about them because they were, they were kind of on the younger side. So I was iffy about them. And I don't know, like, I'll figure out my hero, but I want to write a heroine who is completely removed from sports, because I wrote Cole, who was, team owner's daughter. She, raised around football her whole life. Then Will, who, was an athlete and a sportscaster. Sloan, who was an athlete and became a coach. And then Tegan, who was world-class athlete, so I'm like, I got to do something different. Like, I want a heroine who is just like, I hate football. Like, I think this is barbaric. I think this is like, I want somebody
my
completely
opinions
removed.
on the game of football.
Say again.
I said I cannot publicly state my feelings on the game of football due to contractual obligations of being a momager. But I mean, you're not lying.
Oh, like, yeah. That's how I feel about it in real life too. So hey, I will be able to bring my my personal stuff, and I'll talk to you about that later. Like, that's we'll talk
I've
about
been
it.
trying to pitch football players to her as options. And I do believe Aaron Donald, because I'm reading the comments, and I do believe Aaron Donald was one of those that I sent her way because he big and thick and handsome.
I was gonna say, if he big, thick, and handsome, we like that. All sports are that way except tennis and golf. Yeah. Track, no contact. Well, I say that, but track can be a little,
Yep.
it could be a little dangerous too. So yeah. And tennis, you get it's not funny at all. But I thought about Tegan getting hit.
Getting that. Yo, so apropos of nothing, I actually reread that book very recently. 'Cause, when I get into my moods, I have to, hover into the books that make me feel good. And when he was like, "Damn, that's a big old lump," I'm telling you, I laughed out loud like I never read that before.
You know what was so good about writing offensive formation? I'm sorry, we are so far off from hostile takeover, but it's fine. We're
We
just having
vibing, we
a time.
vibing.
Is because the hero inspiration was Aldous Hodge, and so we have so much material like of his speaking voice, his cadence, his mannerisms, etc., etc., etc. And so it's so easy to imagine him actually saying these things and like getting the perfect inflections and all of that. And it was just so good, and I just wish that I wish that I had that for every character that I wrote, because I feel like it helps me get more deeply immersed in the characters. Like I'm thinking about behind the scenes, I had Tyler Lepley, and like that's Pierre. You know what I mean? Like very Pierre. Like I was able to see his different mannerisms as Benny from from As and As. I've never watched P Valley, but I know that's where a lot of other people know him from. I know him as Benny. That's Benny. And so I had seen a lot of him. And so like I said, it just made it easier. And yeah, I hope that you know, for future projects as well. So you have to show me who Aaron Donald again is again. Because
I
you
got
showed
you.
me a couple people and I don't remember.
Don't worry, I'll bring that back again.
Let's just say you gonna run it back.
I'll run it back.
but um but no, if you guys have any questions or anything about Hustle Takeover, or honestly over anything, like we out here.
All I
But
need to say, as a former tennis player who has been hit one too many times, is surprisingly dangerous. I agree. I played tennis all 4
look,
years of high school, and there was this one team that had this one girl who thought she was Serena Williams' baby. And a tiny 5'2" white girl. She thought she was Serena Williams because the way she was serving, I'd be like, I would hate to be on her end of service, bro. So
yeah, the power behind it, because tennis balls are not like they're not heavy, but they're not soft. Like
no, they were
that's
not.
a whack. Like that's yeah. And so and thinking about like and doing the research for that book, like learning about like the different turf and how they have to you know
Adjust how they
train
play.
differently for different
Mhm.
turf, because you can hurt yourself based on just what the turf is. Like if you're not used to like playing on grass versus playing on turf versus
Playing
all
all
that different stuff. It's very interesting, very very interesting stuff. And you know what I just thought about? What's her name, the tennis player that just revealed her pregnancy?
Who's pregnant? Is Naomi pregnant?
Yes, Naomi Osaka. She's pregnant. And I was like, oh, Tegan. Like, that's so cute. Like, that's like, I love that. I love that for her, especially after kind of everything,
Yeah,
that
she was
that
dealing with.
happened with, and everybody had something to say and all of that drama and stuff. And it was just like, you go, Tegan, because everybody is Tegan. every tennis player is Tegan now. But let me see. Let me because my thing stopped scrolling. There we go. Revisiting the CK series right now on book 3. We're having community and fellowship of shorts. Absolutely. Hi Jay. Really Benny. Yes, that he's been, and I refuse to say that when can I help you? What's your question?
Can I get a Robux purchase, or maybe just
This is not an emergency. Close my doors open. Thank you. I'm sorry.
God dang, you just treated her whole life.
I can't. So why are you talking to me about Roblox? You see this light on. You know what's happening, girl. But yeah, I refuse to say that because I did not want. I wanted Pierre, even though I had a clear visual for him in my head, I wanted him to stand on his own. I didn't want the reader to be like, well, why Benny do that? Or why Diamond was his name? Did you watch P Valley?
I don't, but he's also on Harlem, and I think his name is Ian on there. But so
See, I haven't seen that either.
I was having this conversation about it's about this, but not about this, right? So no, I'm getting there. So I was talking to another author, and she was talking about when she describes characters in her work. And she was saying, I'll give a general description, but I don't like harp on it or keep bringing up certain features. God dang it, because she doesn't want to like impede on whoever the person like who's reading what they see in their brain. And so as we were talking about that, I was like, even if you gave like the most strict description, I'm not going to see what you seeing, right? Because the way that you may describe it may not be the way that I perceive it. So I think about that when we use like real people as like archetypes for characters. About how, you probably described him in a way that reads such and such, but somebody else who read it is like, oh, you know who I see when I see this? Method Man. And I'm like,
yeah,
furthest. Okay.
Yes. And not only that, I think oftentimes people see what they want to see, even no matter how specific you get with that description. Because I remember maybe a year or two ago,
I'm sorry. I'm reacting to it. And I just I'm so sorry.
I already know this is Courtney. Courtney, why would you do that to her? But a couple of years ago, I had somebody hop in my inbox and she was like, CCJ, do you have an issue with light-skinned men? And I was like, huh? And she was like, well, I've read a lot of your catalog and you never write light-skinned men. And I was like, girl, a quarter of my catalog is the pancake.
Light-skinned wavy nigga.
Right, like I'm very diverse, I'm very diverse in my heroes and heroines. I'm not very diverse in body type for heroes, I don't think, but I'm definitely diverse in skin tone, hairstyles, etc., etc., etc. I'm a lot more diverse in body type and stuff for the heroines than I am for the heroes. But I started listing off, light-skinned heroes that I'd written, and one of the people was Steph Foster, who is literally half Spanish. And she was like, Steph was light-skinned, like how did you land at that? And I was like,
because he was
his Argentinian daddy is how I landed at that. But when the description that I gave of him in the book, for her, that did not resonate. That didn't resonate as light skin for her. But I mean, I listed off, a bunch of them. Creed from Deuces Wild, Brandon from Chase of Commitment. Like I had a list, like I had a good list, and I didn't know it off the top of my head. I did have to go look at my, at my book list and remember what I had put down for the heroes. But it's like, it was just crazy how differently that had been perceived. And then this is something that I talked about on TikTok a couple of days ago, where I had someone ask me if I had it was I talked about it on TikTok a couple of days ago, but the question was a few weeks back. She asked if I had any plus size heroines, and I was like, I definitely have plus size heroines.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of how I can explicitly state, someone is curvy, like even with Nalani, trying to make it clear that Nalani is a plus size woman without using language that some of my fellow plus size sisters, because that is what I am as well, would not find offensive. And it's like the most plain language. Some of us find it offensive. It's not offensive to me, but some of us find it offensive. And so I can't use that language. And so I'll do stuff like have EJ, where here your big pretty chocolate ass come, like say stuff like that. And she's like, is that supposed to be a compliment? Even though, I mean, she knows what she looks like. It's a compliment, but stuff like that. And I'm sure in some people's heads, Nalani is a skinny woman, but that's just perception, and not only perception, but people's personal fantasies as well. Because I think that factors in a lot too. I know a lot of readers do self-insert. A lot of readers, have their preferred like celebrity crushes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's who they fill in, even if it's completely opposite of what the details we put down were. And so that's why, I stopped giving character references a while ago. Because, I would have mine, and then I would have people tell me that I was wrong about my own characters. And
that's wild.
That would be the type of stuff that I'm like, I'm trying to like I'm trying not to be mean to anybody, and you about to make me be mean. I'm shaped like Meg the Stallion and myself. Insert me too. Me too. It's funny because Meg is if you've read the Love on Set series, or you don't even have to have read Love on Set, but Vanity is absolutely Meg and Pete. she absolutely is. And also, if you've read Love on Set, I hope that this doesn't ruin anything for you, but Nolan is Rick Fox.
That's just made it better.
That's what I said. I'm sorry if that messes anything up, but that's just in my head, and for me, but yeah, it's difficult finding people who actually even fit, especially once you want to get into features that are not necessarily mainstream or well represented, like thinking about even trying to find book covers and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, like stock images and stuff like that. And honestly, even not just stock images, finding models for the photo shoots, like finding people who are in the same area with, where the photographer might be located, finding them for the photo shoot. I got super, super lucky with the custom shoot for No Longer Afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got super, super lucky with that because, like that is Tati and Nyx in my head. And she was able to find models that were like spot on, exactly, almost spot on. Like, there's little subtle differences, but we make it work. You make it work, but it's difficult. It's difficult. It's difficult, but we do our level best.
I want to roll back a little bit because there was a question in the comments that we missed. I want to make sure we get them all.
Okay, so, before you do that though, I just want to say thank you so much for being a great host, because this comment thing, like, I don't know what I keep doing to it, but mine will not like it'll load and then it won't, and then it'll load and then
Ooh,
it won't.
that's
You're
annoying.
an excellent host. Thank you,
Just
friend.
saying, I try, I try to do a little something. But LM asks, did you have to do any research for this book? And if so, what's the most interesting thing you learned or the hardest thing for you to incorporate?
Okay, so I actually did a lot of research on like grocery, like like the corporate structure and all of that, and just business structure and how um like how land deals and stuff like that work. I so much stuff that I am just like, this is, I'm never gonna write a line of this into this book. Nobody cares. Literally nobody cares about a single shred of this. But one of the most interesting things that I learned is how many Black people are in the corporate structure of Walmart at high level roles.
Hmm.
Like in really nice roles. Now, like the corporate structure that I found, I will say that I don't know, I couldn't find how recent it was, but the
Okay.
pictures looked pretty, like they looked like modern pictures. And so I would
Yeah.
say that it was probably within the last, 2 or 3 years. But there was, when I say there was Black women with their, with their credentials and stuff listed, and baby, it was so many degrees. And I was like, okay, Walmart, y'all might be soulless evil corporation, but them Black girls is getting paid.
Well, shout out to
I'll
the
take
sisters
it.
getting that coin. I'll take
Them
it.
Black girls is
Yeah.
making a bag. But what else? I'm trying to think of anything else that really, like this one honestly didn't have a lot, because I didn't want to get too deep into the weeds of it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get too deep into the weeds of it because I knew I I knew that the more I put down, the more, how do I say this? Sometimes less is more. And I feel like if I had put more down, I would have had to research even more,
Yeah.
because it's like once you start giving details, people are going to keep wanting those details. And it's like you run the risk of, you research something a little wrong and then you put that down and that's not quite right. Like you kind of run the risk of that. But one of the more interesting, and this is for a different book, but I remember writing I Think I Might Love You, and Jacqueline decides to adopt that cat. When I tell y'all, I went down a rabbit hole of what is like the best, most premium cat food, and like down to like what the brand names are and what their ingredients are and what are reviews on this cat food. And then I just put that she found I put that she found Miss Thing some cat food. I didn't even put down the actual brand name. I did all of that for nothing. And when I say hours, like I blew hours, and I was probably just procrastinating or something
Shout
too.
out to being a real writer, because all writers know that you will procrastinate on the simplest things to keep from doing your job.
Right, to keep from just moving on to the next thing. Like I could have wrote a whole other chapter in the time I spent looking up cat food. Let me see. Is a really
Zebediah
cute
is not
little,
Klay Thompson, Courtney. I need you to learn some more basketball
yeah.
players. He's not big enough. He's not cute enough.
But
Sorry.
you could say it's Steph Curry.
He's not big enough. He's not cute enough.
I know, that's my point. I feel
um,
like Clay is better than Steph. Visually. I don't know anything about basketball. Visually though.
visual, sure, right? Sure.
Not sure. Oh my goodness.
Um,
I say
oh,
real
Uber
I
made a
like
good
Foxy
point,
Maxwell.
though.
That's how it plays in my head.
What's that?
Foxy.
Uber made a good point. She said, she said, it's funny how people's imaginations resonate differently with what they perceive as light skinned or not. And that is
Yeah.
true as well.
Yeah. Because I see a lot of people who say that they are not light skinned. And I'm like, what do you think? What do you
Sister,
think?
you would wear 300 and Fenty. What do you say?
Right. Like there is literally light brown and you are that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like there's nothing wrong wherever your skin tone falls on the color spectrum. You know, black is beautiful, but babe, you are light brown. Like there's no getting around it. Um okay, I see Monique asks, how easy did the catwalk of Jess come to you? That was so satisfying. That was so satisfying. I knew you meant dog walk. I said catwalk too, but I knew you meant dog walk. But I don't usually I won't usually let my heroines do violence even when it's deserved, because I feel like in real life the kind of person that will take you there will also press charges, and I don't be wanting them to go to jail. You know, I don't be wanting them to go to jail. But in this specific situation, I know Jess wasn't gonna press no charges because that would have been even further embarrassing. And Orion would have squashed that. Like, my wife is not going to jail. Like, that's not happening. And so it was so very completely satisfying to write her doing that, because Jess was absolutely out of line. In my head, she is the even though I love her on Are We There Yet? I absolutely loved her. But she was Monica on Girlfriends. And like, can you just imagine like
Yes.
this little pretty ass bitch, like
Coming in your house,
right.
talking about your man, even if you ain't claiming him as your man like
Right.
that.
Making little innuendos and all of that.
Innuendo.
Mm.
That was very satisfying to witness as a reader. Which it's in Hostile Takeover. Hey, you her.
No, I think she's talking about the cat. I think she's talking about wait, are you I think she's talking about I Think I Might Love You. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. It's either Hostile Takeover or I Think I Might Love You. Two very different books, two very different experiences.
But when she tugged that lady wig, ooh, it just
yes.
chills.
Yes, I was. Oh, that was fun. That was very fun. Have you ever thought about
Yeah,
writing a
Jess
love?
got dog walked in Hostile Takeover.
Okay, yeah. See, you were right. Which we just talked about
We
this.
just had this conversation.
We just talked about this. But have you ever thought about writing a love triangle? I despise love triangles. I I hate love triangles with the heat of 5 million suns. hate I hate a love triangle as a reader. I can't say that I won't ever write it as, as an author, but it's an immediate. I'm closing the book.
I mean, you low-key already wrote one.
What? When? Let's talk about it.
Even though they were not evenly yoked, inevitable conclusions.
Girl, that one for it to be a proper love triangle, like I feel like both relationships have to actually have a shot of truly happening for it to be a true love triangle. And wasn't neither Jalissa or Paul. Nobody was. I cannot remember. I cannot believe I remember those names. I cannot believe that I actually pulled those names out of my brain. I'm proud of me too. But I feel like for it to be like a true love triangle, like there has to be that real. Like, I will never forgive Danielle Allen for that very first series, Back to Life, Back to Reality. And if you talk to Danielle, you tell her I said it. I will never forgive her for writing a love triangle, and she chose the wrong man at the end. She chose the wrong man at the end. I can't believe I ever talked to Danielle again after that. I hated that.
Also, y'all should not take me seriously. I was not being serious about individual. Sorry, I'm a very unserious person, like 98% of the time. I'm so sorry y'all thought that
But
I was for real about that.
Mieko, Jaleesa played the same role as Vashti in Before I Let Go. And we all knew they was going to be Endgame. You know, I have a very specific hate for Vashti. I don't think Jaleesa was as bad as Vashti. I don't think, and I don't think Tariq was as bad as old Beanhead. Oh, that made me so mad. That made me so mad. Like if you like, okay, if you have not read Before I Let Go, this is about to be a spoiler. He had that bitch in her house playing Monopoly with her kids.
Game night. Family game night.
Game night with my kids.
You and the fucking ribs can go.
Like I look, she should have dragged Vashti across the table. Nobody passed go.
I would have paid to see that.
Nobody's collecting rent. Absolutely not. But what's okay, so it's not a love triangle. But oh, that made me so mad. That made me so mad. It's not a love triangle, but I have had a little bit of light polyamory. And the reason I say light is because I'm trying to think of how much I'm gonna say. I think I've already publicly talked about excuse me, Justine's book from Sugar Valley. I publicly talked about it was in the TikTok, I remember it.
Okay.
I publicly talked about her having two heroes. Nothing happens between the heroes, but there might be a scene where they're both where things are happening to her from both ends. With both heroes.
How you live this? You said you might visit the Eiffel Tower. I stand. You said it might be a luau with a spit roasting. I stand. Let's go.
Yes. I'm still trying to, like it's still marinating in my head if I'm even going to do that, because I don't know if I don't know if by the time I make it back to writing that book, if that's still going to be if that's still going to be happening. But that might be the closest to a love triangle that I would purposely get. I do think there is, because of the very different men, I have in my head like this very, very good friendship that happens between the two guys. And I'm trying to I don't know how much suspension of disbelief it actually like for real needs, but I think convincing the reader might be the issue, because it's cemented in my mind. But I think making sure that it's written in a way that it's cemented for the reader and realistic for the reader, that these two guys could be actually good friends and them both have a romantic relationship with the heroine, like separate romantic relationships. But I think what makes it work is that neither of them necessarily need like the full they both have different needs from a relationship. Like they both have their own kind of baggage, I guess, that makes them where they want to put a limit around how much of a relationship. And so it works for everybody, because even her, it's not like she has these two different boxes and each man fills one of the boxes, because she doesn't necessarily want this full-blown relationship either. And it's not like, okay, well, the two of them together are
Man.
making up one nigga. Like, it's not, it's not like that. And so it's complicated. It's complicated. And like I said, just kind of figuring out how to frame it in a way that it fits, but that it also is very clearly, it's clearly a happily ever after for them, even though nobody's, necessarily getting married or anything like that. But it's what everybody is getting what they need and want from this relationship, but it's not that traditional thing. Somebody said brother husband. Yes.
I have a comment that I'm gonna raise to you later, just something that popped into my head as you're like talking about that whole scenario. Just because I don't know if it's something that you would want to go into right now. But I was like, oh, I wonder,
I feel like we're gonna forget. Go ahead.
You want me to do this?
Do I?
I don't know.
Go for it, because we got to wrap up, because
Wow.
I've got 35 weeks of pregnancy sitting on my bladder right now.
I was thinking about Journey, like,
yes, and I'm screaming, I want you to look at what she actually,
because it did not, like, I was trying not to look, and it shows.
Okay, so yes, Journey, I think that's, that is a fair consideration. That is another part of what makes it difficult. But one of the guys is a single dad who has a daughter Journey's age. And that's going to be a factor, and the other one, that's too much of a spoiler. I can't say the other thing because it's too much of a spoiler. But that's the one that, excuse me, I'm sorry. That's the one that gives me a little more pause. That I can't talk about it publicly because it's a huge spoiler. And so I'm gonna refrain from that. But that is absolutely, the kids that are, involved, that is paramount for them, making sure that it's healthy, that making sure that what the kids see is a healthy situation. And I actually think that the way it lines out, I think that what they're able to show the kids is probably healthier than what it would have been otherwise. Not necessarily comparing it to, a nuclear household, because that was never going to happen anyway. So there's no point in us comparing it to that, but comparing it to if they had not come together, that's, yeah. I think you follow me. What, not a Spit Rose thing, Eiffel Tower action, Eiffel Tower. So my iPad is dead. I was gonna draw a picture. What do I have?
Not an illustration.
So, okay.
But once upon a time she was. I don't know what she does now. I think she's more of an editor.
Don't even play. Yes. Nicole Falls, find her on Amazon. She is absolutely a writer. So, okay. So we have
this fool is a really
one hero.
Yeah.
And we have a second hero. And we're gonna give him some
You're gonna give him some facial hair or something?
Some locks.
Oh, okay. Well,
those aren't locks. That's like Coolio.
Like those look like wigs, sister. He from Florida.
then Owen, who has a super long back for some reason.
Because you want to make it clear
Oh
that
wait,
they
and
are there
then
for
they're
her.
supposed to be high fiving each other to make it a true.
I cannot.
Oh my God.
This is why, like, we should not.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh,
Oh my goodness.
oh my word!
So everybody gets the visual though. The visual is understood. And then I had to scratch that out.
Very much given Weenie Dog, Britt. Very much. Like, and that's even funny because he drew it in doggy style.
Dude.
Bro, I did. Wow. If you would ask me how this is ending tonight, I couldn't have predicted right there.
Illustrations. Erica said she's gonna need a chiropractor. Only if they do it right.
With that back crack like a glow stick.
Oh, yes, she is going to be filled up like one of those cheese filled hot dogs.
Not you saying she a pig in a blanket.
Oh,
Oh, wild. Wow.
oh man.
I didn't know that's how you got down over here talking about books. My goodness. Clutching white pearls. This is a lot.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so all right. If this is only supposed to be an hour, we're coming up on an hour and 30. So 9 more minutes. Just to make it, round. If you have questions about, about House of Takeover, about other books, about Nicole's books, she here. Talk to her while she here.
Why she do that?
It
I
will
really
be
hope it
available.
is going to be available for rewatch because I need to watch that illustration.
Oh, yes, it will be available for rewatch. I'm very glad that y'all understood my visual, like my wonderful.
I feel like you need to find some way to put that illustration into a TikTok, bro. Like, I don't know how. It's got to be promo. I don't know how.
That would be good.
Oh, that's a great question.
Can you explain your preference of first person versus third? You talked about this with Nicole before. I do not remember talking about it with Nicole before publicly. We've definitely talked about it privately. But yes, I feel like with first person, you are able to get more immersed in the character, like you're in the character's head versus just observing what's happening to them with third person. I think there are some fabulous authors who can really get who can really get the emotional depth and all of that even when they're doing third person. It is like pulling teeth for me personally. I don't like writing it. I don't even like reading it, honestly. I just prefer being more immersed in the character, especially with romance. Like in other, with for other genres, I can read it fine, but with romance, I like being in the character's head. Yeah.
Y'all really submitted questions to me because that lady told y'all to do that, huh?
I'm sorry. What's up next, Nicole?
If she tell y'all to jump off the roof, y'all gonna do that too? Wow, that's crazy.
No, but they ask these questions.
What's up next? Do I say this? Do I answer this question?
I don't want you to put that pressure on yourself.
Okay.
And that is my honest answer.
Okay. I don't know. I know, but I can't tell y'all. I'm so sorry. If I could tell y'all, I would. Just know that I've been quiet, but I've been thinking, and I've been writing on my iPad like a very important, busy person. And I got a high level idea of something, and I'm in the process of bringing that high level down to lower level so that I could grab it because y'all know I'm short. Yeah. So that's that.
Since you said that, what's your favorite Nicole book, CCJ? So to make this easier for myself, I'm going to limit myself to more recent projects. And I'm gonna say Rory. I cannot say that name
Rory
out loud.
and Remy.
Rory and Remy. My
That's a
mouth
great choice.
doesn't want to make the R's, but I loved the like that incorporation of that artistic element and him really understanding, like him having that understanding for what her passion was. And I'm trying to be cool on the spoilers. But the stuff that I love the most is like very, very spoilerific, like at the very end, like what he does for her, the way that they meet, the way that they almost have a, somebody should have get snatched by the wig moment. If you have not read Rory and Remy, I have to say it very slow. But if you have not read that, I would definitely, definitely highly recommend it. Another thing,
it's my favorite book of mine right now.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that. Another high recommend is I charges to my head and not my heart that I cannot remember any of the titles off the top of my head. But your holiday series books, you had there was a Thanksgiving one.
So A Dirty Valentine.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. What was the other one? What was the Thanksgiving one?
Oh my gosh. I wrote it too, huh? A Feast for All Senses.
Yes. I love those as well. Like those are nice, they're short reads, they're steamy reads. So like if you need to, I'm on my lunch break, let me squeeze something in, or I'm not gonna make that joke. I'm not gonna make that joke.
I saw it like forming in your mind, and so it was really funny to watch that evolution. Like, nope, not gonna say
that. But those are definitely, those are definitely great starting points. Those are great starting points, I would say.
Britt, love the question. Thanks for asking. Probably not.
I'm trying to. What question are you on?
She asked, am I gonna have a chat for Power Forward?
Okay.
Probably not soon. I got a lot of like crazy stuff going on in personal life. Like I'm moving, in the process of moving. So like my life is just ridiculous right now. So once I get things settled, maybe I'll get back into the space of being like a real life author and actually, having chats about the things that I write about. Because how else will I know how y'all feel about them? Because I don't read reviews. Please share who your ideal Zeb is. So even though he's not big enough, Zach Levine, somebody who's probably closer, who's probably bigger, but would also work is Tyson Chandler. I'm trying to think who else. Because he got to be big and light skinned. So yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. I just Googled Tyson Chandler.
Oh.
I see it.
You see the vision.
I see it. I see the vision. Absolutely. Are there any more CCJ and Nicole Falls collaborations for 2024? So she's going to claim I'm lying when I say this. And Alexandra would probably swear I was lying when I say this too. But I have been fighting I've been fighting to get the fines on. I'm not gonna say the rest of it, but I have been lobbying very hard for
I will give her this. She has been lobbying hard for us to do the fines blank blank. And both myself and Alexandra said that's an option. We just have no like real experience with where you're trying to get us to go. And
Okay.
also when you posited this, I was in a very much not writing space. So I probably gave you opposition because I was like, I'm never gonna write another book again. So no. So I'll own that because I was in a very dramatic non-writing space when you first propositioned.
Yeah, and now we're all just like in limbo. So 2024 is probably a great, like, it's honestly probably a great aim.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me see. Pleasure Principle. Yes. Yes.
I
That's the
love that
purple
book
cover.
so much.
That's with her all her how did Tracy Ellis, her wheel of lovers. Yes. Accidentally in Love series, absolutely. Like, look, you really can't go wrong wherever you start in Nicole's catalog. Hunger and Thirst, yes, absolutely. Courtney.
Not
uh
Crosby Towns, absolutely not. Jason Tatum is.
no, he's so cute.
Have you heard him speak?
I have not.
He sounds like a Cali girl. Absolutely not. Jason Tatum is actually very. Yeah, I like that, Shalette. I like that. Shout out to you because that's good. Jason Tatum could work. He's a little young, but that could work.
I'm cracking up, but you saying that man sound like a Valley girl.
He does. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to like send you a video of him talking to his real voice.
Please
so you can hear
it. Which of your books would you bring to screen first, and who would be your hero / heroine for both of you? I have like 100 books.
Okay, I'll go first. And I'm a cheat. Because half of the couple I have figured out already. So, it would be, and it's not just my book, right? It would be Nymphs and Trojans. Like, I would like to bring that to screen as like a limited like mini series like situation. And so obviously the first book would be Shots Not Taken. And Jade, to me, was Lauren London. And who can play Nico? Everybody I'm thinking of is not tall enough. And everybody who's tall enough is not who I would get to play. Like the only person that like is popping in my head that would be tall enough and like body wise would be what's his face? Who plays M'Baku? What's his name?
Winston
James? Is that right? No, that's
no, you think about the narrator. Winston Duke.
Yes, Winston Duke. Yeah, so yeah, those would be the people that I would select.
I like it. What comes to mind immediately for me that I know people that I could cast for would be Anonymous Acts. And I would put Sterling K. Brown and the girl, she's not an actress that I know of. It's the plus size model who is also pregnant. I can never remember her name when I'm trying to talk about her.
Oh,
what's her name?
Tabia Majors.
Tamia. Tabria, not Tamia. I'm like an old person. Like, can't ever pull the names together. But yes, Tabria Majors, and Sterling K. Brown would, I feel like, could do Monica and Wick real justice, and I would definitely be very into seeing that. And as I was talking, something else popped in my mind, but I can't pull the rest of it to my brain, so never mind.
I would go to the
But
movie theater to watch that.
yeah, a long time ago, for a crazy little thing called love, I had Lance, what's his name? Lance Gross as
Mm.
Roman, and Nicole Bahari as Simone. And I
Um,
still love to see that.
oh,
I'd love to see Nicole Bahari
absolutely. In anything.
in anything. um, yeah. Takara. uh, I wouldn't have been surprised if that came out of my mouth next. I would not have been surprised. But yeah, it's actually really, really hard to cast people, because it's like you have people that look the part, or you have people that can really, really act, and often those are not the same people. Nicole Bahari, baby, she is beautiful, and she is going to kill
Well, anything you put in front of
kill
her.
any role. Lance is very pretty. Like,
So handsome. Very
she's
handsome.
everything and he's Ken. You know? And that's no shade to him. Like, that, for real, no shade to him. Like, I've watched him and stuff, and he does absolutely a fine job. He was actually in a movie with Nicole Bahari. It was like a basketball, or it wasn't like a basketball movie, but he used to play basketball and had to stop or something like that. Like, I can't
You're
remember
asking
the
the
name of
wrong
the movie,
girl.
but I remember it. It was like a short. It was like a short film. Like, it wasn't like or was it a short film? I don't remember, but somebody know what I'm talking about. Somebody know what I'm talking about. But yeah, yeah, yeah. Something like the last. It's the last fall. It's the last fall. So thank you, Sonia. Aja Naomi King as Reese.
Ooh,
She would listen as Reese.
she would.
Can
Ooh,
you imagine it? Who would be Jason? Oh my
oh
goodness.
my goodness. It would have to be like a newcomer.
Yeah, like
Like I can't give you like anybody like
off
current.
the top. Yeah, but that would be good. That would be good. I
Oh,
want to.
oh, LM has another question. What song would be the theme for Hostile Takeover?
Uh,
I read that like everybody can't see the comment says and power forward.
um. So hostile takeover.
Wait, did I make a playlist for it? I don't think I did.
I'm very curious as to what your answer will be for that. But hostile takeover. I actually started a little playlist that I never shared because I never finished it. So I'm gonna go see what I had put on there. I think it's just a bunch of Beyonce songs.
So actually, there would not be one theme song, right? Because the way that I constructed the playlist for the previous books in the series is that the first two tracks on the playlist equated to the heroine's point of view and the hero's point of view. And so for Kyra, ooh, why did that take me? So her song would be Fear by Jasmine Sullivan. Just because she is, yeah. And for Zeb, I don't know. Oh, actually, I do know, and this is a horrible fucking pick, but it works. Don't want to be a plan. Personally, I hate that song.
Not be
But it
punished.
works.
I still got what you're looking for. Oh, oh man.
Oh,
Dude. um, so
oh, actually, when I said the wrong song, it wasn't Fear. It's Lions, Tigers, and Bears. That's the Jasmine Sullivan
okay,
song.
because I definitely nodded like I knew what song you were talking about on Fear, and I did not. But I know Lions, Tigers,
Well,
and
Fear is
Bears.
a song, but that wasn't the one. Like, I was hearing Lions and Tigers and Bears in my head, but I said Fear for some reason.
Yeah, I love Lions, Tigers, and Bears. I know that one. For Hostile Takeover. So the songs I have on this little playlist is Don't Hurt Yourself, Beyonce, No Angel, Beyonce, and All Up in Your Mind, Beyonce. So those, that femme fatale kind of vein is, and I think when I put that together, I think that was when Nalani was very much in her, you know, when he first showed up at the spot
All
talking
of
the
your
mess he
mind
was
is
talking.
inspired. Really.
Yeah.
He know I'm a fucking problem? Like, yes, he does.
Yes. Tell mama that I do it for you. Tell that
Yes.
your mother-in-law, your mother-in-law. We got it.
I'm good.
But all right. So we are officially 11 minutes past the 30 minutes past. So we are going to wrap up. As always, thank you guys so much for coming through. This has absolutely been a good time. Y'all know I will talk all night, but again, I gotta pee. Like just to be perfectly honest, I gotta
Keep
pee.
it real.
So we are going to wrap up. Thank you guys for coming through. Thank you, Nicole, for being a fabulous co-host. This would not have been nearly as fun
Thanks
if it
for
was
having
just
me,
me
pal.
doing my normal rambling. And we will holler. Bye, y'all.